Donald Trump appears to have realized that Russia is no longer a terrible threat. To achieve peace in Ukraine, Europeans must do the same. The myth of Putin's strength is crumbling. The end may be closer than he thinks. Donald Trump appears to have realized that Russia is no longer a terrible threat. To achieve peace in Ukraine, Europeans must do the same. Follow this channel, ECOchnneltv, for more updates on international news. Not only is he making history in the Middle East, but also in Eastern Europe. By finally pushing back against the failing Russian regime, Trump has opened a path to something few expected even weeks ago: a faster end to Putin's disastrous war. If successful once again, it would be very hard for the Norwegians to deny Trump the Nobel Peace Prize next year. As a lucky side effect, he may even, believe it or not, help the Russians rid themselves of Europe's last 19th-century despot. Trump's pivot has two parts. First, he has made plain that Europe must stop freeloading on U.S. taxpayers and take basic responsibility for its own security. This was long overdue. For a generation, European governments preferred disarmament theater and moral grandstanding, exaggerating Moscow's strength to keep American checks flowing, even as European energy firms continued to buy Russian oil. Trump was mocked for saying as much in his first term, and for insisting that NATO members honor their spending commitments. No one is laughing now. Second, Trump has finally ditched the Cold War notion that Russia is so formidable that we must, to avoid World War III, accept that it can bully its neighbors into vassalage. Russia is a weakish, brittle power in rapid decline, with a sphere of influence that has been steadily shrinking for decades. The invasion of Ukraine was meant to arrest the decay. It accelerated it. The land seized at vast cost does not begin to compensate for the collapse of Russian clout in Central Asia, the Middle East, and the rest of Europe. The crucial moment came in late September, when Trump publicly embraced the proposition that Ukraine can recover all its territory. That was not just rhetorical flourish. It marked a clean break with the "both sides must yield" mush that undermined the heroic Ukrainian fight and flattered Kremlin mythology. Words from a U.S. president matter. Treat Russia as strong and stakeholders default to caution. Treat it as fragile and initiative is unlocked. We are already seeing the practical effects. U.S. support has shifted toward enabling strikes that degrade the aorta of the Russian war machine, its energy complex, refineries, and logistics hubs, rather than feeding trench attrition that hurts the smaller side most. Talking accurately about Russia's underreported weakness may also embolden the reformers and fence-sitters inside the Russian system, who needed reassurance that the Leviathan is a rusting hulk, not a dreadnought. And Trump has gone further, talking openly about supplying Ukraine with long-range Tomahawks, missiles that can reach deep into Russia, including Moscow, and may evade even its best air defenses. His meeting with Zelensky in the White House showed that he may still need to be persuaded, but it is notable that he has even admitted the possibility that they might be supplied. This is not to deny risk. Moscow always warns of dramatic escalation when taboos against hitting targets inside Russia are punctured. But squeals are not strength. Russia has been forced to reroute fuel flows, import goods it once exported, and swallow refinery disruptions that bite into warfighting capacity. With Tomahawks in the conversation, the more serious risk of escalation finally sits where it belongs, against Russia rather than Ukraine. The Kremlin's bluff is being called. The sound is not a bear's roar, but a wince, and, one suspects, nervous shuffling in the corridors of Russian power. This is what much of Europe still misses. For years, the line was that Russia is so